My name is Ann Endries, and this is my interview with a school librarian for LIS 773. I interviewed Miss Katie Noonan from Irving School in Oak Park. It's a K through 5th elementary school.
I'm Katie Noonan. I am the teacher librarian at Irving Elementary School in Oak Park, Illinois, which is a K through 5 school.
Question number 1. What automation do you use in your library?
We use Follett Destiny. So Follett is our program, is our company, and so that includes our cataloging system, our user management system. The kids use the Destiny Discover app to mostly log into their accounts and put on holds and check their accounts and things like that.
Question number 2. How often do you inventory and weed your collection?
I know some of my colleagues in other buildings will do like a section each year. Like they might do like, all the fiction one year, all the nonfiction one year, like things like that. But I tend to like to do the whole collection if I can. Okay. And weeding is kind of ongoing. Like usually during inventory, we'll do a little weeding just because we're looking at every single book for kind of the first time. But weeding in general, I try to do every year in certain areas.
Question number 3. How is circulation happening during remote learning?
We're doing curbside pickup in all of our schools, and the middle schools, the kids are putting their holds directly in Destiny through the app, and then they are pulling the holds and pulling them that way. The elementary schools are doing a request form, so students can request specific books if they want. Otherwise, they can say like, I want a mystery, or I want like a nonfiction book about World War II, and then we pull that for them.
Question number 4. Do you involve students and staff when selecting materials for the library?
I would say, yeah, students and staff. I take a lot of recommendations from kids.
Okay.
And also like when I'm purchasing, I picture kids, like, I'll get a bunch of books and I'll be like, oh, this kid is going to be so excited. And then I'll like make sure they're aware of that. But kids give me a lot of recommendations. And then staff also, like, depending on curriculum. So like when our, new curriculum came the last couple of years, it was clear that, we didn't have any like how-to books for the how-to writing unit. And so like things like that, like I'll try to purchase more of those for the library so that they can use them in their teaching. So staff and students.
Question number 5. As we move towards the future of libraries, we are using more digital research resources. Do you think that references and nonfiction materials are still relevant?
I would say that nonfiction books are still important, but all of our like databases and encyclopedias are online, and that is what we use for that. We don't use reference books in print anymore. All of that is done online, but we do encourage like nonfiction books of certain topics to be checked out.
Question number 6. Do you collaborate with teachers during specific classroom lessons? Have you done any lessons you really liked and want to share?
For first grade, every year we do a Women's History Month biography project. So I work with the teachers to create pairs of students in their class, and we give each pair a biography at their reading level. And then they work with that pair to read it, learn about their famous person, and then they create either a poster, or we've done green screen videos also where they like do an oral report with pictures behind them. And then we have parents come in and observe, and like we do a poster walk so parents can come through and look at them all, and the kids give like a little oral presentation, or we do a movie screening if they did videos.
Question number 7. How do you handle information and literacy skills that will prepare students with future-ready skills?
Anytime teachers do research, I want to be involved. So like, for example, I just found out like third grade's doing a biography research project. So I gave them a quick overview on Britannica and Infobits last week so that they can start using those to research. So that I try to get in, like if they're doing it in the classroom, I want to be involved. So sometimes things are kind of standalone, but more, I would rather that things like actually go along with what teachers are doing. So, I try to do a whole unit on digital citizenship. For the older grades, we also talk a lot about, like I was saying, like reliable sources versus not, true versus false, like things that are online, scams, phishing scams, like email, like things like that, just to kind of get them thinking that everything online is not true. So that goes along kind of with digital citizenship too, which I do as a standalone unit.
Question number 8. How do you attract and encourage reluctant readers?
I would, and I do, find, like, my biggest thing, like when I got to Irving, for example, there were no graphic novels, just as an example, in the space. I mean, this was 11 years ago, but finding books that are attractive to kids in general is the first step. I'm a big relationship builder, so I get to know kids and like what they like. So if I know that like you're a big, NBA fan and Kobe was your favorite player, like I'm going to purchase a Kobe book and put it in your hands. Like I'm very much like that kind of librarian where I want to know what you like, and then I'm going to find things that I think will interest you.
Question number 9. Does District 97 in Oak Park have a partnership with the Oak Park Public Library, and has it increased during the remote learning?
We have a really strong partnership with them. So Anne Bensfield, who is, she was a children's librarian there. She took a couple years off, but she's back as they just hired her as kind of like their virtual learning librarian with this like remote learning stuff happening. Ooh. So she actually comes to all of our department meetings and we collaborate in terms of like what things can they give us or make for us that we can then share with teachers and families, like videos on how to like use Hoopla, videos on how to log into, Libby and Overdrive, like all these things that they have.
Question number 10. As remote learning continues, what do you see as some important issues that will be facing our students in the future?
I mean, I think screen time is an issue. I think that like social emotional isolation, not being able to have that socialization is an issue. But I will say that I do feel like it's a little bit better than I anticipated. I feel like kids are getting opportunities to collaborate remotely, like in breakout rooms and things like that, more than I think we all maybe thought. And even more than I think if they were in person and they had to socially distance and things like that. I think it is nice that they have some of those opportunities still to like work together this way. But no, I think screen time, I think, the social emotional side of it. I also think that I think that lack of engagement for some kids is going to be an issue. Like it's easy to check out in remote learning. And I think that some kids who are maybe less intrinsically motivated, will fall behind for those reasons.
Question number 11. What prepared you best for your role as a teacher librarian?
I honestly think that being a teacher first was the best preparation. I feel very strongly that you should have some experience as a teacher to work in an elementary school.
Question number 12. What is your greatest professional challenge that you faced as a teacher librarian?
I think the biggest professional challenge every year is to remain relevant. I think that I'm always trying to reach out and collaborate and make what I'm doing relevant for the teachers. And also I'm very big on trying to make their lives easier. So what can I do to make their lives easier? Like what resources can I give them without them even having to ask? Or what can I do in library that would just help them that much more when they're grading like a certain standard? Sure. Things like that. Like how can I help them?
Question number 13. What advice do you have for future me when I become a teacher librarian?
I'm going to say I sound like a broken record, but like relationship building is huge. If you do not have a positive relationship with your staff, there are a lot of things you will not accomplish. Like in our job, it like, I guess it would be easy to just like have like a standalone like lessons that are just like, you do whatever you want. But I think in order for a library to be truly successful, like you have to, it's basically an extension of the classroom. And if you have staff that are willing to let you help and let you co-teach and bring you into their spaces, then that's huge. and because I do feel like the librarian is a natural leader in the building, because you do work with every single staff member, so you know everybody, you know every kid, you know the administrators, you literally know everybody in the building. And so, anything you can do, like your knowledge of the school and of the kids is pretty great, and you get to know them over 6 years, which, like, I was thinking about how this year, like, none of the teachers have even met their kids in real life. I've met all of them except the kindergartners. Like, it's just like you have that like relationship already established. Sure. So like in remote learning, it was easy to like jump in and be like, you trust me and I trust you, and like we know each other, so there's just that advantage as being like a place where everybody knows you. So relationship building is huge.
Thanks to Miss Noonan and Irving School in Oak Park. Click here to read my takeaways and thoughts from my entire interview. I've also attached the D97 program mission and vision. You can click on it to see how they run their libraries in District 97, Oak Park.